Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Low Season Traveller Insider Guides. And this week we've got a real treat for you as we're launching our first episode of Low Season Stories, where we speak to locals in destinations around the world to learn their stories and their take on tourism in their destination. We were recently on location in Rhodes for Low Season Traveller, and whilst there we happened across a fascinating man called Savas who agreed to tell us his story. Listen through to the end, because just as we finished recording, he saved the very best until last. Enjoy.
My name is Savas. I am from Rhodes. I'm born here. My family are from Rhodes. They grown up in a village which is called Masari. It's about 15 kilometers before Lindos. On the left side is Haraki Beach and Agathi Beach, which is very famous and beautiful beach in Rhodes.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yes.
And obviously you run and own this fabulous leather shop.
Yes.
So how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this 35 years, but actually we come here in 1974. My father was making shoes for men. I mean, good shoes, not sandals, for marriage and all these kind of things. But he was not here. He was in a place near the Acropolis of Rhodes. We grown up on this place, and he had a little workshop there. He did shoes for men, and he gave these shoes to the old town in shops that they were on this time working with tourists, make money, and he just make a little bit profit from his making and selling the shoes. And in 1974, my mother pressed him a lot because he was afraid to make a big step. So my mother pressed him and he came down here, which we say he came to the city from the mountain, and he started making sandals. He didn't know how to make sandals, he knew how to make shoes. So for him it was a big thing. And he came down here in 1974 when we rent the place, and he bring his machines and everything and his lest like this, you know. The war happened. Then it was the time, 1974, that Turkish attacked Cyprus. Yes, and there were some people, they had to go to Cyprus to fight. They take from all Greece people to go there. But on this moment, my father went to a place near the airport. It's a little hill, which under the hill they have it's a hall with guns inside. You can watch opposite the sea, you know. So he was there with other soldiers waiting if Turkish come also to Rhodes. And we go with my mother and my sister there, bring him some food in the day with the bus and come back to the town. I mean, for him it was a big thing, come to make a job, and suddenly he has to leave the place and go to the hill. But anyway, this finished, and then he come here and he start making sandals. Of course, he didn't know what is a sandal, so he had this one, and he bought this, but the narrow size.
Yes.
So he start creating sandals and making sandals in a narrow form. But nobody tell him, Yannis, don't do this. This is narrow. You have to take wider forms to make sandals. So he make rather many pair of sandals that they didn't fit in the foot. So he had to give some presents or start from the beginning. Finally he finds his steps and he fix everything right later on. He buy new things. And yeah, that's the story, how he start. And I was 10 years old child, I was watching him. And my father, when he was about 20 years old, he went for his duty to Athens. And because he was tall and really handsome man, they take him like an Evzon, which is a guard front of the palace, like this. But finally, he was in the palace, beside the king and queen, King Konstantinos and Anna Maria. And he was private protection of the king. Where the king goes, the driver of the car, my father beside, king and queen behind, go to different places. And in the palace, when famous people come to sign, like we visit the palace, the guest book, they have to pass front of him before they see the priest, so the king. So He has seen many important people like Jacqueline Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, Juan Carlos, Sofia from Spain, Yuri Gagarin. He see the astronaut on this moment. And his life was really very exciting because when he was there, he knew only an orange. He didn't know what is an apple or what is a banana. He just find it inside the palace. He was a farmer here, you know. And they asked him to stay, but he wanted to come back to his village, married a girl from his village, be a shoemaker, what was his dream since he was a student. And like students, the children, they put them in the school to make a theater, and he always act in the theater the role of the shoemaker. I am John the shoemaker, you know, when he was a child. That's his story. He came here, would do this job for so many years. We work only with leather. When the big crisis with leather happened before some years, a lot of Chinese products come here, and it was full with plastic. After some years, leather was okay again, and now people know that we don't do it. We don't put plastic in. The trust stay. He was rather famous in Scandinavian people, and mostly in Finland. And that's the reason also his nickname was Jussi instead of Yannis, because in Finland, Yannis called Jussi. So when he started working with tourists here in this street, first customers were from Finland. And when he died, in his Facebook, it was over 3,000 people who write for him a comment because they knew him. He spent a lot of liters ouzo give to the people when they come, like welcome. We had rather good memories and good time, my father.
So
I work with...
You're following the family tradition then?
Yes,
really?
I was beside this, I was always playing music in the nightclubs because that's what I love. And beside the music, I make also the Sandals. When he get retired and he had problems with his back, he could not walk so well, so he stayed home some longer time than before. On this moment, I start making Sandals, touch the machines, because he always was afraid to let me to not cut my fingers in the machine and this and that.
He didn't trust you?
He didn't trust me, you know. He was afraid. I was his good boy, and I had to have my fingers there. So when he was on the house, I started doing things alone, and it was like a God. It comes from the God. It's like I knew how to do it without practicing, from looking. Yeah. If you look a lot, if you watch a lot, you get full. Suddenly you know something, and then you can do it, I believe. That's the story of the shop. Now I have my son. He is also with me, and he is learning now how to do sandals. We work together, but on the moment, because of COVID, he does another job to have some salary and survive these difficult years now. When this finish, we're gonna do again, he's gonna come again here and continue the job and everything.
Do you think that there's a danger that your son will be tempted by the bright lights of the big city or Athens or?
No, he won't. No, he will stay here.
Yeah.
He will stay here. He does the same job like me. He left Scotland, which he had a career there for 15 years there. He was doing he was responsible for vaccinations. Okay. Yes, that was his job. He was working for NHS. The United Kingdom sent him in a world seminarium. I don't know how to call the world, but England sent 2 people in many doctors together go there and everybody talk, blah, blah, blah. So England sent an English guy and him there. He was very special on his job. But he say, I go to do what my father does. I have enough of computers and cold weather and everything. So he came here, make the family here. Now I have my grandchildren and we are together. He will continue the job, but he has also one plus, a younger wave on the brain. I mean, it's, new things, technology, all these kind of things, which finally we need it. I'm not so good with internet and everything. I know how to make things. I can create models. But if you tell me to send you an email and send it together to your wife, for example, I will be confused one by one.
That's where your son comes in, though. He'll have a Facebook group and
everything. Yeah.
And it's mixing the old and the new.
Yeah. And also it has to do the creation we have here. It has to do also with my wife. And my wife is from Holland. She's Netherlands, and she's very good with decorating the sandals with stones and all this kind of thing. So all together, we put a little stone on the shop to make a rock out of it. And that's the reason now we are top in TripAdvisor, top in the 10 best shops in town. We didn't try to be. People put us there. Yeah.
That's the best way, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. We don't cheat people. Sometimes people can think, this is very cheap here, or it's more expensive than somewhere else, but you can never say about price something because it's not the same thing. You cannot compare Fiat with a Mercedes. I mean, it's both they are cars, but there is different technology.
I've had a belt before that I bought, a cheap belt.
Yes.
From China, a Chinese belt. You know, it was €3 or something.
Yeah.
Within 3 months, you could see it's made of cardboard.
Yes.
Cardboard with plastic on the cover. Awful.
You know what it is? Because you said about this, I had the same belts, and the reason is that to wear it 2-3 months, take it. It's okay if you don't want to buy a leather one, but the people know what they buy. You want a leather one, that's a leather one. Not fake leather, not second part of skin, first part of skin, good quality. The very, very cheap one, it's something that I don't really care about it. But if somebody needs something, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
With
the
yes. Are you busy in the obviously the tourist season here in Rhodes roughly goes from April through till October.
Yes.
What about the other months of the year? What's it like for you? You still working?
I am. We start the season about 15th of April and we finish it about 20th of October. This is the days that say we get some income. But say October it's finished, I put everything inside my workplace and all the leather in packet, I cover them to not be damaged in the period of the winter. And for a month, I don't come at all. I just go fishing, I just play a little bit music, I go to see friends I miss the whole summer. And then say end of November, I start doing the sandals I need for the next season, but I'm not like a clock, 9:05 or 9:06. I come when I want, I leave when I want, I work more relaxed. I do sandals for next seasons, ready, cut belts for next seasons, and see what bags I need. The bags we do out, the stitch and finish it outside. We don't do the whole thing here. But the most important is that whatever I have, even bags, the leather is something which I choose from the fabric, and I say, this leather, make it. So I work my own stuff.
Perfect. Well, listen, thank you so much.
Thank you very much
for taking the time to speak with us. Do you have any messages for all of our audience back in the UK?
I must say that UK people are very polite, good families. There are people who are helping a lot all the market here because they look and they buy and souvenirs and everything, and they are people who keep still the traditions with Queen and everything, and it's something that we like. There are many also women married from England here with Rhodian guys, and they still have the family and the children, everything is nice. I hope for all the people to stop this problem with COVID and everybody will be happy again and healthy. And when I have the money to go holidays, my next destination again will be UK.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You'll be very welcome as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Sorry for my English, but it's what I learned by experience, not by school.
That's perfect.
Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome.
And this was where we initially stopped recording. But Savas had one last treat for us. He started telling us more about his love of traditional Greek music and how he used to play the bouzouki in a traditional band. He told us that he was not as good on the bouzouki these days, as a lifetime of working with his hands had left his fingers not as agile as they once were, but he wanted to show us his bouzouki. So here's what happened next.
That's it.
Let's see. Oh, beautiful, isn't it?
That's bouzouki. What you see here, Savas.
Oh, that's you.
I didn't write it. It's the name of the amplifier here.
Really?
So they call him like this, the one who made it. Yeah.
It's a beauty.
So don't think that I am about myself.
It's a beauty.
Yeah.
Go on, play us something. Beautiful, beautiful. What a wonderful, spontaneous and authentic Greek experience that was. And this really highlights just why low season travel is so wonderful. You simply would not have interactions like this during the busy peak months, as the locals would simply not have enough time for you among all of the other visitors. Be sure to tune in next week as we head again to Rhodes for another low season story, this time with the utterly charming Stavros from Mama Sophia's restaurant in the old town of Rhodes. Born and raised among the ancient walls of Rhodes' old town, Stavros tells us what tourism and hospitality means to him, and you cannot fail to be charmed by his enthusiasm and passion for his island, his town, and his family restaurant. But that's our show for this week. Thanks as always for your company. Hope you have a great week wherever you are. Stay healthy, stay safe, keep your travel dreams alive, and don't forget to share this podcast with your friends, family, and social networks. And finally, as always, remember that travel is always better and fairer for the planet, the local communities, and you, the travellers, when it's without the crowds.